So in that sense, I have added responsibilities. So someone told me, how do I measure my success? And I said, every day if I'm able to stand, I would call it a success. Because from Beijing, what they want to see is that our movement fizzle out, our movement weaken, and then just disappear. Because all along they calculated that when His Holiness the Dalai Lama passes away, the Tibetan movement will disappear on its own. So every day I stand on my feet, we are sending a message to Beijing, not so fast. We have democratic institution here, we have democratic system here, we have democratic election, and the younger generation are standing up and taking over the leadership and the responsibility, so that, remembering the legacy and magnanimous contribution made by the elder generation, younger generation will carry forward the Tibetan freedom struggle till our freedom is restored in Tibet. So our movement will continue. It will be very difficult. And as I said, it is of Himalayan proportion. But being someone from Tibet, genetically we are disposed in facing the challenges in climbing up the Himalayan mountains. So we have climbed Himalayan mountains before, and we will climb again. Because in 1910, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the 13th Dalai Lama, had to flee to India. But in 1913, 13th Dalai Lama returned to Tibet because Tibetans successfully fought against Chinese and restored our freedom. So we have done that before, and we'll do it again. Now, actually I said, I spoke a bit too long. Let me end with some relevance to diversity and plurality in media, reflection society. As you can see, my life, in some ways, started in a small village, went all the way to the US, and I come back. And I can say with certainty, the diversity and plurality that you see in India, I don't think you see in many places around the world. Diversity, unity in diversity is being mentioned in India and is truly practiced here. Of course, European Union, in some form, most of the countries in Europe will say unity in diversity. From countries like Ghana to Indonesia, they all use this. South Africa. But truly, what you see, unity in diversity, is right here in India. Because imagine Indian democracy, 700 plus million people voting to elect their leaders. 700 million or so. That's more than the people in Russia, Europe, and America voting. So more number of people in India vote than people in Russia, Europe, and America vote. And as far as diversity is concerned, Hinduism originated in India, Buddhism originated in India, Jainism originated in India, Sikhism originated in India, and India also has the second largest Muslim population. Zoroastrians are here, Christians are here. So you see diversity everywhere you go in India. But still is the mystery, rather it's a beautiful mystery, what keeps India together? What is this unity that keeps India together? I think the answer is democracy. Because democracy, in basic definition, democracy could be free election and free speech. Basic, of course, you can add layers after that. But as long as there is free election and there is free speech, that could constitute a basic definition of democracy, which you can see in India are plenty. It's the democracy that unites India and Indian people, despite hundreds of dialects and languages here, so many religions. This is the strength of India, and this is the beauty of India. This is what India has represented around the world. And with Arab Spring, I think it's made very, very clear. Uniformity is not the rule. Diversity is the rule. Because till recently, many scholars argued, some scholars argued that Islam and democracy are not compatible. But now, in this year alone, we have witnessed so many countries in the Arab world are embracing democracy, are fighting for freedom. That shows now Islam and democracy are compatible. Hinduism and democracy was always compatible. Buddhism and democracy is compatible. Christianity and democracy also compatible. Now you have one ism left that is to be tested. Confucianism in China. Is it compatible with democracy or not? Hence the argument about cultural relativism, Asian values, all these arguments are made. But Taiwan is very much democratic. They are going to have election next month on January 14th. And they practice or they believe in, to some extent, Confucianism as well. So in this world, one challenge is left. Or rather, one question is left, whether Confucianism and democracy are compatible or not. If that becomes possible, which I think is possible, then whole world would have embraced democracy and freedom as the basic right of the people. Now here, I think Tibetans could make some contribution. Granting autonomy for Tibet and Tibetan people could be a catalyst for moderation of China, democratization of China. Now I make this argument, it's a bit complicated, I'll make this argument in the following ways. What Tibetans seek is genuine autonomy within China. As far as Chinese government is concerned, they have already granted autonomy to Hong Kong, to Macau. So which means constitutionally and institutionally, they have no problem granting autonomy within China. They are also willing to grant more autonomy for Taiwan. Of course, some people in Taiwan have different views. So that means they also have the political will to grant autonomy. But the question is, why isn't the Chinese government granting autonomy for Tibetans? The answer, I think, is because we are Tibetans. But the Chinese government is saying, you are not Chinese. We treat Hong Kong as Chinese, Macau as Chinese, Taiwan also, but some people in Taiwan have different views, also as Chinese. We are willing to grant, we have granted autonomy to these two, and we want to grant autonomy to Taiwan also, but not to Tibetans because you are not Chinese. Now here lies the challenge for the international community. If autonomy is granted to Tibetan people, then that will be the beginning of realization and materialization of embracing of true meaning of diversity by the Chinese government. Because for the first time, they will be granting autonomy to non-Chinese, someone different than yourself. So if the Chinese system takes the initiative and grants autonomy to Tibetans, then they are learning the true meaning of diversity. And Chinese people also are embracing diversity because now they are treating non-Chinese in a respectable fashion. So there could be democracy. But democracy in itself might not be an answer. But if you want democracy with diversity in China, then I think it has to start with Tibet. So on this struggle, we want the international community to join us. And India and Indian people have always been with us. We want you to continue to be with us. With that request, ये हमारे तरफ से आप लोग सबको अनुरोध है हमारा साथ रहे और साथ चले जब तक तिब्बत में फ्रीडम रिस्टोर होंगे। शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद।